Bitcoin hits 112,529 late Wednesday before a pullback. And despite the August slump, it's still up over 2% in September. Ethereum holding strong above 4,400. Altcoins are mixed. And we got traders now pricing in a 98% chance of a Fed rate cut coming this month. Let's break it all down, crew, for the points that you need to know. Welcome back, Crypto Crew. It's your boy Tom here, bringing you the hottest in crypto and Bitcoin action. If you like what you see, give us a like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto all day, every day. We're crypto maniacs here. All right, let's get it down. Let's get moving. Let's get into it. All right, price holding right now right around 110,000, 111,000 after reaching intraday high of 112,519, 520. Well, depending on what chart you have, what broker you have. If you have FOREX, you got the best broker in the world. But that's besides the point. But anyway, right now, late Wednesday, we pushed to 112,529. And like I said, despite the August drop from 124K down to like 107, Bitcoin's still up about 2% in September. Now, here is the discount levels that we posted on July 19th. All right, and now they're still in play right now. We had a 109 buy area, 106. Really, we kind of moved that down to like a 105. But right now, the market's holding strong. It hasn't broken through that 107.1, which is very important. It needs to hold that low. And we're going to get into that in the short-term charts. But right now, if we look at what the pattern everybody's looking at is that double top. Okay, that double top has been nasty. It's still in play right now. It still has the ability to push the coin downward. But if we look at the record high hash rate, it's a strong sign of network health, okay? Even though the double top is still in play. All right, so the hash rate is strong. That's good. All right, let's get on over to the 2-hour chart. Okay, here's the good old 2-hour chart that we like to work on. All right, so as it stands right now, let's do some chart work on this. Okay, so we popped above the 112, okay? We needed to get above the 112.8. So it would change the character. If we can close above 112.8, and I would say this is only a 2-hour chart, I really look for a 4-hour close above 112.8. That would change the structure from neutral right now to neutral slightly bullish. So it's still right now neutral. It has the ability, the coin has the ability to actually retrace back down before, where's my path? Let me get a path. We popped up here. We're trading like slightly lower than this area right here, this little minor valley that we have. The next level of support short term is like 110. But it does have the ability to come from here, to come back down all the way to this level right there, 108.5. All right. Now, if it has that, if it does do something like that, and it holds, we need to then we'd then probably get enough steam to come up, test this upper tine right there, come back down, use the 111 as a support to finally start to trade higher. Okay. Now it's all going to depend on what we're talking about Fed rate cuts, things like that. But I'm not really putting too much weight into that right now. I'm really looking at just the technical structure. So right now, the coin itself, I would consider it is neutral. Where would it turn? If it comes back into this area, totally neutral again. However, if we break this low, we would turn to bearish. Market would then turn from neutral to bearish, looking to tag that 105 and potentially even lower to the 100. As it stands right now, okay? Don't be panic merchants. As it stands right now, it's actually showing some signs of life, showing for upward movement. It's not fully confirmed. It's got to close above that 112.8. Then it's going to have difficulty at 115 and 118. But let's just take it one step at a time. 112.8. Let's move on over to, like, if we look at Bitcoin. All right. Hang on here a second. I got to make sure my charts are in order. I want to talk about something that I saw just on Tuesday. Okay, so if we look at gold, and this is quite interesting, and now correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I observed this, and sitting in my office place here, and smoking my cigar, drinking my espressos, and I observed something quite interesting. And like I asked in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I observed. I said, I'm thinking that Bitcoin's trading more like a safe haven asset right now. It's moving with gold rather than equities. Now, on Tuesday, when stocks sold off, both gold and Bitcoin spiked together as investors cut their risk. So it was an interesting phenomena for me. Okay. So momentum, watchers see potential, Q4 rally, especially if we get the dovish Fed, the Fed policy, if they cut the rates. Now, traders right now have solidified their view that a Fed rate cut will happen in September after the weak jobs openings data on Wednesday. Now, the market sees a 98% chance of a quarter point cut when the central bank meets later this month. If you look at the CME FedWatch tool, it's up from 93% yesterday. However, another cut in October right now after September is being viewed as a 50-50 bet. So that's not solidified. But if we get that 25, okay, we know that lower borrowing costs tend to support riskier assets, such as all cryptocurrencies, right? But as I said, I think Bitcoin's behaving like a safe haven asset right now. It's moving more in tandem with gold than it is with stocks. Now, gold futures fell 1% early Thursday after rallying to record highs early in the week. Came off, but Bitcoin held the ground, right? So that's quite interesting. So today, we look at today in particular, or look at Tuesday's trading in particular. It was very interesting for me to see the crypto market rally sharply along with gold and the US dollar amid most of the significant pullback in equity prices since the beginning of August. Now, this is why I asked, look, I observed this. You tell me, hey, Tom, you're completely off on this. I don't, I welcome it. Look, I welcome the discussion, but really this is what I'm seeing. So it appears that cryptos were benefiting from safe haven flows as investors cut their exposure to equities during Tuesday's risk off session. Did you see it as well as I did? I mean, that's what I saw. So the stock market, had a pretty good day, and futures today are pointing higher, but cryptos really right now haven't matched the optimism yet. Okay, if we look at Bitcoin, we look at the 12-hour trend line break. The 12-hour break has happened, right? But one trend line, in a bullish crossover, MACD isn't especially on a 12-hour, isn't like, hey, let's pop the champagne. We're rallying. We're still, we could test the trend line coming back down again, support like 1085, and that's what I just went over on that short-term chart. But okay, but it is good to see Bitcoin actually breaking through the 12-hour. Now, that's not the all end all be all, it's taking off. No, just saying that look at the market structure itself that I just showed you on the 2-hour, and we could get a pullback, yeah, but really it's holding pretty strong. It's up, basically 2% right now. All right. So really, the double top, the double top is still in play. That damn double top that was real easy to see, in 2020 hindsight, right? This one was real easy to see in 2020 hindsight. At the time, I was completely wrong. I thought that it was going to hold around 115 and then really take off and take the top out. Wrong. Okay, but now here's the pattern that got me in some up the gum tree once before. Okay, the inverse head and shoulders that I was talking about, and I had the argument with the guys. Hey, this thing doesn't break. It's not out of play unless it breaks through 78,000, right? So anyway, but here it is again. Here it is again, and it's what I would consider right now the inverse head and shoulders of dreams. Okay, because there's double. There's two of them. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Not one, two of them. It's basically what I'm seeing here is like a super cycle formation beginning. It's the setup of a generation. I'm not going to fade this thing. I'm going to look for levels to buy it if we get a dip, absolutely. But really, this thing is showing Bitcoin is locked and loaded to get to that 150 before we get the retrace that we've been talking about. Okay, so we know that Bitcoin loves to trick us. We know it loves to trick us. And if we come over to this chart, we could see it. Flush out the weak hands, trap the shorts, reverse hard. Bitcoin has done this dance before and it's doing it again. And when it resolves, it's not going to grind. It's really going to pump. It's really going to explode, So we got the roadmap written for Bitcoin. We could come over. We could show you this chart right here. Here's the roadmap. Green was for stacking. Orange, patience. Red, sell the shit, distribution. Okay. So that's what we got going on right now. Every cycle ends the same way. The blueprint doesn't lie. The only question is, will you be a distributor at the top, or are you going to be exit liquidity? That's the question, And we're looking, if we come up into the red now, we're looking at 190, 170, 180, even like the lower part of it is right around that 157 level. So just stay calm, pay attention. Things are happening. It's not happening at the speed that we want as if we're a Bitcoin bull. Bears are still, they're still laughing, drinking their champagne in the corner for the time being. But, that champagne can actually get really sour soon if they don't pay attention. So they got to protect their profits, in my opinion. If we look at Ethereum, and I'm going to take you over to WeX, the broker of our choice. I'll show you the Ethereum trade that we got rolling right now. WeX, what do we got at WeX? Tell me what we got at WeX. Well, we got low fees, fast execution. Okay? Everything you could want in a broker, no slippage. Hardly any slippage. No slippage. That's what we got. All right. So we got Ethereum running along 4,348. We showed you that where we were patient. We waited for the marketplace to come to us. We got in. Okay. Not at the perfect low, but we're in. Okay. Right now it's up 27.18. We're still taking it on the chin with H bar down 165.01. Okay, I'm not really personally worried about H bar. We got our stop in, but really I think that H bar is going to be much higher in the coming months. I'm thinking around 40 cents perhaps. But hey, one step at a time. Right now the market has said you are effing wrong right now. Okay, fine. We come on over to Ethereum and we look at Ethereum as, it's broken the final test here. It cleared the final test. The breakout structure locked. Momentum is now aligning. This is a textbook disbelief rally that's happening before your eyes. Above 4,800, there's no disbelief, only euphoria, and the blast off sequence has been engaged right now. So Ethereum right now is currently trading at 4,416, up nearly 1% intraday, outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, it's supported by demand in DeFi, NFTs, layer 2 infrastructure, as well as the big boys, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They're all behind this, okay? Now, we're calling for a forecast, but a push to essentially higher if the bullish trend holds, and we believe it's going to hold. We're thinking Ethereum's going to 6,000 at first, slow it down a little bit, then we're looking at 7,000, 8,000. We're looking at a target overall for Ethereum around 15,000, 20,000 before it actually resets itself. Now, again, one step at a time. Wednesday move, Ethereum rose 0.9%, right? It's basically still at that level right now, but it is maintaining its leadership in the altcoin space right now. Right now, if we look at the altcoin space and we look at actually Ethereum, the playbook for Ethereum really never changes. I'm going to take you over to the playbook right there. I'll show you where it is, right there, the Ethereum playbook. First, we get the shakeout. Then we get the disbelief rally. Finally, we get vertical takeoffs. Shakeouts aren't weakness. They're actually refuel resets. And we're saying the target is clear, right around 10 grand. So if we look at Bitcoin dominance, right, another way of looking at Bitcoin dominance is sitting right now at 58.42. We got the breakdown below 58. that shows that we're going to get a major push into altcoin season. So it's playing out to the script. Final altcoin shakeouts always look the same. They're always brutal. They're always violent. They're designed to trick you. They're designed to fake you out. That's why you got to join our pro group. Get in our group. We'll help you through it. It's free. It's free. You just got to deposit money into WeX so you could trade with us so you get the same prices. That's all we're asking. If you don't want to trade, you don't trade. You put 20 euro in there and just hang out with us. That's fine too. We don't care. Just bring your own booze. All right. It's a bring your own place. All right. We're not offering anything. They're free coffee for everybody. But anyway, so every time the reward is altcoin season. The next phase isn't about survival, really. It's about positioning for vertical expansion. Now, we like HBAR. It's actually really nice at a nice price right now. It's you could get in better than us if you choose. Do your own research. We're not telling you to go buy it. Well, but we're in it. We showed you. Okay. Now, altcoins right now, XRP down about 0.2% at 284. Solana slipped 0.8. Dogecoin. I don't get the Dogecoin thing, but it's down 0.5%. Broader altcoin cap is above 1.5 trillion with altcoin season index less than 50. Greater than 50, signaling rotation away from Bitcoin dominance. I'll say it again because I actually, in my mind, I inverted my greater than signal sign to less than for some reason. Altcoin season index is greater than 50. All right. Notable movers include right now Meme Core, Virtuals Protocol, OKB, Kronos, Athena, Solana, and Ethereum remain the standout performers right now. Now, there's some speculative plays like Chainlink and Layer Brett are drawing attention for their upside potential. But really, overall, those themselves, if we look at altcoins themselves, they have flashed, a bullish divergence. Price makes lower lows. Momentum makes higher lows. This isn't weakness. It's hidden strength waiting to explode. The chart is whispering what comes next. Altcoins are ready for expansion. Fade the signal at your own risk. Fade it at your own risk. But really, we're pointing you in the direction here. So right now, overall, okay, if we come over to good old Bitcoin itself, let me get this Bitcoin chart right there. Overall, traders see a 98% chance of a quarter point rate cut in September, up from 93% a day earlier. Odds of another cut in October are still sitting at 50-50. We know lower borrowing costs tend to support riskier assets like all crypto, but Bitcoin's current price action really suggests it's being treated more as a defensive asset right now. Again, that's why I said in the comments, let me know. You agree? I'm saying I think it's a defensive asset, especially with gold showing similar patterns. We pointed the gold out and we said that gold actually led the way, but now Bitcoin's acting very, very similar to gold. Now we need the breakout, yeah, but really gold futures fell 1% early Thursday after touching fresh highs earlier this week. It's actually they were actually mirroring Bitcoin's pullback. So that's the argument I have for today. Since the market's quiet, I figured I'd do a deep dive and, bring this to your attention. But right now, before we wrap up, crew, we're going to make sure that you're well aware of our pro group. You come on over in the description and you can find where you can, actually copy our trades. You click this, you actually get a free 1,000 Ethereum position with that. That's pretty cool. You'll be taken over to this Telegram where you can actually sign up, copy our trades if you want. You get into our pro group. Again, it's free. The only thing it costs is for you to deposit money into WeX. You don't have to use the money. You could trade with us. You could not trade with us. You could watch us. You could, decide what you want to do. We drop insane alpha and trading opportunities every day in the group. If you want to just follow us on our broker of choice, you could actually click here. Oh, you get a 20% deposit bonus there. That's nice. You don't get that many places. So that will take you over to good old WeX, the broker of our choice. Low fees, fast execution. Everything you could want in a broker is here. I'm telling you, it's here. And don't forget, you come on over. You can follow us on X, right? Where we talk about Bitcoin all day, every day. But before we wrap up, let's just give a synopsis here. We got Bitcoin that's holding right around, let's go 111. Okay, safe haven behavior, strong hash rate, potential Q4 rally if the Fed cuts rates. I don't even think, it would really be helpful if they did. But if they didn't, I think that the chart's going to play out as the chart's playing out, because I do believe that the technicals actually lead the news, so to speak. We got Ethereum that's strong right now. It's outperforming DeFi, NFT demand up 1%, holding above the 4,400 level. Altcoins are mixed. XRP at 284, Solana down 0.8, Doge down 0.5. Alt season indicators are flashing green right now. So macroly, we need the Fed rate cut odds at 98% for September, and that would boost the long-term bullish case. All right, so remember, come on over to X. Follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto all day, every day. So what do you got to do? You got to get into the free pro group, okay? But I mean, if you're just like on the fence, you're not going to be able to make any money, right? Scared money makes no money. Okay, that's for sure. Scared money makes no money. Now, we're not saying bet with your head or not. You got to trade with, not bet with your head. You got to trade with your head and not over it. That's for sure. You definitely have to do your own research. And you also, as a short-term trader, you got to enjoy the party, but dance near the door. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.